Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Welcome to Tales with TR, episode 217B. 217, sorry, A. I'm your host, Terry Ryan Jr., and I forgot to have a coffee, so we're taking our first break 23 seconds in. I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. That's better. Cheers, boys and girls and ladies and gents. Oh, okay. So, first thing I got to say, this being episode 217A, I've already recorded 217B with a good friend, Stanley Cup champ, solid dude, Brent Sopel, okay? No, I don't normally do them out of order like this, but I had a chance to have him yesterday, and like I said, I'm here at Shoresy. It just started yesterday. I got my fitting and stuff, and now we don't really know when we're going to get free, when we're not. Time is precious right now. So I had Soaps yesterday, and I said, you know what? We were just chatting. I said, can you come on my pod? Just give me we'll talk about it talk about your career, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. He says, no problem. Now, when Soaps came on, I was so intrigued. Usually, as you guys know, if you listen to this at all, when I have a guest, especially one that's been on for the first or even second time, if it's spaced out, I'll go through maybe the questions in chronological order of their career, right? Hey, who did you like growing up? And were you always into hockey or music or whatever it is? Who are your heroes in high school? Where'd you play junior? Whatever that might be, right? And then get up and gradually, you go through, a story of their life. But Soaps, okay, Stanley Cup champ, he's got a real unique story and he speaks to a lot of people because was diagnosed with dyslexia and more. Dyslexia, if you don't know, people look it up. It's hard for me to define. Here, I'm gonna look up the actual. I know most people will know what I'm talking about, but some don't, okay? And we want to include everybody here. So Soaps figures this out, and the reason was because his daughter was diagnosed in grade 2. So dyslexia, it's a learning disability that affects either reading or writing. Different people are affected to different degrees, but that still doesn't really explain it. Problems may include difficulties in spelling words, reading quickly, writing words, sounding out words in the head, pronouncing words, and the same thing with math. So it often is associated with ADHD, difficulties with numbers. I'm just reading this, but this is exactly, again, because I've already done the interview, this is the way Soaps explained it to me. And I was intrigued because just before you even peel off only the first layer or two, for me to go through major junior, right? Again, I'm thinking about hockey. Of course, I'm thinking about high school because I wanted to graduate. I'm going, but like any other normal human, I'm going in and, there's adversity that comes in high school. There's exams. There's, I want to get good marks, everything else. Yes, it wasn't easy to travel around on the bus in the Western League, miss 2 weeks of school, come back, have a chemistry exam, not know what the fuck's going on, try to catch up. Being from Newfoundland, even when I first went, there was a bit of a language barrier. There was no globalization of the internet. I'm not saying that my junior experience was all easy. There was great things about it. I've often talked about it. It was way more bad than good. But there was levels of adversity to it. Well, with fucking Soaps, add into that, right now, again, until I spoke to him, I didn't really think about it, but it's one thing to go through high school, and, people think, and you go, like he said, you go along with the joke, oh, I'm an idiot, or kind of roll into the joke, or roll into the dyslexia as a joke. But, he wasn't diagnosed. He didn't get diagnosed till he was 32. He won the Stanley Cup the next year. He'd already been in the NHL for 10 or more years when he figures this shit out, man. So, that must have been, the ride must have been, you heard Jacques Demers, similar. He's coaching in the NHL and he's illiterate. For Soaps, not illiterate, but there's a similar common denominator there. He just can't absorb the information like everybody else can, nor can he explain the information or write out the information. So he can't take it in at the same rate as everybody else, and he can't put it back out there at the same rate as everybody else because he can't understand it to begin with. So for him, it's conversation. So, you know, we spoke about it, and I was fascinated. So I said, like, because I figured like buddies at high school or like in a dressing room would be your happy place. And he's like, no. So for me, it was my happy place. People ask me, anybody who even played senior hockey knows, right from junior, I go to the rink early. There's a game at fucking 7. Usually, you know, in junior, it's 5 o'clock, maybe 5:15 is pushing it. But it's generally you're there 2 hours before. And most people are there a little bit before 2 hours before. I would go like fucking 7 hours before. I would often eat pregame meal and go right there. Why? I don't know. I had a lot of anxiety for games, not just in like, you know, the physical or having to fight somebody or something. That was just all part of it. It was just going out and performing and, you know, wanting to do well. It wasn't all bad energy. You know, people often think before games, oh, did you get anxiety? I did. It was good anxiety, though. I didn't mind it because I was getting ready for the game. I just didn't like to go through it at home on my own. I like to get there, think about it a little bit, maybe grab the hockey news in junior, read up on some stats, go over, maybe tinker with a stick. And I love junior when we didn't have all our pattern. I mean, we did, but we still cut them down. You know, you'd get your Coho Revolution. You give them some semblance of a fucking curve that you liked. But, you know, you'd just heat up the blade and fucking start bending, you know, every fucking 3 or 4 every game. So there was always something to do. And then, you know, I'd do my reading. I'd catch up on schoolwork for whatever reason. Right up until 2 years ago, man. Right up until then. Senior caps. Ask the boys. I'd get there 1 o'clock. We had a game at fucking 7 at night. And I'd get in there and I'd fucking do some podcast work, whatever. It was my happy place. But so I figured that would be the same for soaps, right? It's your buddies, like you're going to go, and dyslexia is one thing, but he's like, no, because I felt a little bit different. So I didn't see this coming, and especially a guy like that, like I looked at him, Brent fucking Sopel didn't take any shit, man. Like he was not a guy you think of to drop his gloves and fucking pump you, but no free passes, real, like, Soaps was the same player on the road that he was at home and, you know, played hard against you. Very tough opponent, fairly honest. I'm not saying he wouldn't give you an extra route. It was back then, it probably helped him a bit. But he, what's the word? You know, after the game was always okay. You know, he hurt me once real bad in fucking Swift, man. He gave me a hip check. I went right up, did the helicopter right up over him. My whole body was off the ice, came right down on the other side, fucking boom, like knocked the wind out of me. Not like, you know, have you ever really had the wind knocked out of you? Scary shit. I've heard people say they have the wind knocked out of them. And I'm like, no, that wasn't the wind knocked out of you, man. You just got hit hard. The wind knocked out of you means that, you know, and then it comes back and fucking Soaps did that to me, man. But again, after the game, hey, Terry, keep your fucking head up. Here's a beer, right? That was the era then. And then in the bar, like it's easy to hide when and so Soaps is sober now almost 10 years, but it's easy to hide when you're on the ice or in the bar. Cause again, he's just having beers, he's socializing. So, you know, whenever I saw him would be either on the ice, like I said, or after the game. It's not like I ever ran into Soaps. You know, let's go to the fucking grocery store. Let's go to the mall. I probably would have picked up on his dyslexia a little bit, but I didn't know that or ADHD so I was fascinated. And anybody, and you know, the guy's sober now and you know, he just got a lot to say. But anyway, we were 26 minutes into the fucking interview and I got a call from the Ginger, one of the wardrobe ladies with Shoresy, that I was supposed to go and do a fitting. And it was my fault, but it was a little bit of a screw up. There was a holiday here yesterday. So technically Shoresy started, but only like a couple of departments that had to get our stuff. You know, like I said, I had to get fitted. I picked all Ted Hitchcock's clothes for season 4 yesterday, and I'm excited. It's the best clothing season as far as Ted Hitchcock's concerned. But anyway, it's the summer. But anyway, yeah, so I had to leave rather abruptly, too. Rather abruptly, you'll hear. But listen, I'm going to have him back. We're going to have Brent Sopel Volume 1 and 2. Because all I really did for almost a half hour was talk about his dyslexia because I was fascinated. So like I said, we got to get back now. We're going to talk about some people in junior that he played with that I looked up to, like Paul Vincent, great scorer. Tyler Willis, one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. That pound for pound, one of the toughest. Zenith Kormaniski, I've talked about him here, my old roomie. He played with him a little bit. Aaron Asham. Brent Sopel, like I said, Stanley fucking Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks, original 6, not even that long ago, 2010. Just a fucking top-notch guy, top-notch story. And I say top-notch guy, that gets thrown around. Oh, he's great. He's a great guy. No, but I think Brent, because of all this, because he's taken this, I mean, he was always a good guy. I wouldn't be lying. I like to have a beer after the game, but I didn't know much about Brent Sopel other than that he was a great opponent and we had a little bit in common to talk about. But I'm saying top-notch as in figured out the dyslexia, helped not only his daughter, but a bunch of other people, has a podcast now talking about it, and in the process got sober, which also is a fucking hurdle to overcome. So the guy has been fucking overcoming adversity and fighting his own battles for his whole fucking life. And the Stanley Cup was just the tip of the iceberg. But I do want to hear more about it. So those of you that listen, in a way, I apologize it got cut so short. But in a way, I'm saying there's volume 1 of Brent Sopel and look forward to volume 2. If you want to follow along, it's the Brent Sopel Foundation. If you want to donate online, there's a website. But anyway, you'll hear him talk all about it tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it.
Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. With DraftKings, you can bet on any game you want. Whether you want to bet the puck line or the over-under, DraftKings has something for everybody. And if you want, you can throw down on your favorite player as an anytime goal scorer. Or if you're looking for a long-term bet, maybe you want to predict the Stanley Cup champion. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's promo code THPN, as in the Hockey Podcast Network, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/ice for eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities, like self-care, slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it can be hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, those non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. BetterHelp isn't just for people who have experienced major trauma. It can be helpful for learning positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, or just empower you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? BetterHelp is entirely online, so it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Plus, it's easy to get started. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge, no hassle, nothing. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN.
My dad just left today, literally 1 hour ago. He was sitting there yesterday and he just looked at me and we were watching the Olympics. Because those of you that have been following, we came here Saturday and, Shoresy's just getting up and on the go. So I wanted him to meet a couple of the guys, but once he did and he looked over and he said, Terry, I miss Penny Lane and I want to go back and see her play in her summer games. And which I knew he was going back anyway, but, senior generally knows. He just looked over and said, okay, it's time to go. So I went and by the way, normally, if it's time to shit on Air Canada, we all do it, from me to Ryan Whitney to whoever. And I know flying is not as easy. It's more complicated than it used to be. But I got to give them props when it's time to give props. So I phoned in, and I needed my dad on a flight, and I fucked up. And you know how you fuck up the name? And my name is Terrence W. Ryan. His is Terrence C. Ryan. Very, very slight. But I needed to change the name, first of all. And then I realized I booked the ticket for a week from now, accidentally. And there was no way to refund it, whatever it was, because I booked it on points. And I'm calling in, and I was like, one thing I don't like is all the automated shit, right? You just call in. I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to call Air Canada. Sure enough, I was on hold for like 45 fucking minutes, but I just put the phone down, hooked it up to the speaker, and watched the Olympics. And eventually a lady got on there, or actually she told me her name was Joanne. And I told Joanne about this, and I told her I would mention her. Thank you. She spoke old-fashioned service. Old-fashioned. Oh, hey, so you're from Newfoundland? Okay, I see the problem, sir. I said, yes. I booked the wrong name, first of all, and the wrong time. And she goes, well, normally this would be non-refundable, but she goes, why don't we just try to help you out here? And within like 5 minutes, she said, okay, your ticket is for tomorrow, being today. She said it costs you nothing. And she said, she gave me a little tip. She goes, if you ever, because I was drinking Starbucks while I was on the phone with her. And she said, if you like Starbucks, and I like their like breakfast, those are the leg bites. I mean, I'm in coffee, schmoffy, I can get it from wherever. But Starbucks has, and they have that little egg, spinach and feta cheese egg white wrap. And, from my cholesterol to trying to keep myself in shape, it's just a nice little breakfast option. So anyway, I'm getting it more now than ever. Again, we're on Shoresy. We're going to have our shirts off a lot this season. So it just reads that way. Maybe not, but it just reads that way. Even when we're in the dressing room, you do it. You're on TV. You want to look in your best shape. So anyway, I was just telling her this while she was waiting to translate my information or transfer my information. And she says, by the way, if you're on Starbucks, you can link that in with your Aeroplan. She goes, I'm on your Aeroplan now. And then she said, not only that, you can link in Uber Eats and all that shit. I go, Jesus, I'm getting Uber Eats tonight. So she fucking helped me out. She, in a rare case of compassion, when it comes to a big fucking huge company, organization, almost branch of government nowadays, it was nice that she said, well, technically we're not allowed to do this, but you seem like a nice guy. And she said, look, you've flown a lot. I said, yeah. I told her about my Growlers game. I said, and I'm on this TV show now, and I've had a chance to travel a lot. And I usually travel Air Canada. And she said, geez, you've gone on like whatever it was, 25 flights or trips, let alone flights, just this year. And I said, yeah, a lot. So then she said, no problem. What's your dad's name? I said, it's Terry C. Ryan, born in 52. Because we use the same address as well. Again, we have a P.O. box that's right in the middle of our two houses. So it's easy to get us confused, but often once they realize it, they won't let you on the plane, right? So she took care of it. The error didn't matter. And somehow I came out of it with 2,000 extra Aeroplan points than I did when I first booked it for next Tuesday. So anyway, thank you to Joanne from Air Canada. An absolutely fantastic job. You'd swear it was 1995, or even 87. The automated shit was already around in 95, wasn't it? Most of my lifetime. But there was a time, in 87, I would have been 10 years old. Barely really used the phone much. I don't remember as a kid being really that, other than call my buddies. Hey, where are we going to meet? What are we going to do? Okay, click. Wasn't on it much other than that, but I know that the further you go back, the easier it was to talk to people. It might have been half automated in the 90s, but usually you could get someone on the phone. Holy fuck, man. Nowadays, it's just crazy. And while we're talking about big companies that give deals, by the way, I guess I'll give a shout out to Uber Eats. I just started this, and we just started with Uber in Newfoundland. So I've used it when I'm in other cities before, but not a ton. I'd maybe used Uber 30 times in my life, say, before, which is not nothing, but it's been around a while, and the amount of times I've been in these cities, Someone else might get the cab here and there, but I have the app. I might go months and months and months without using it, but now it's at home in Newfoundland, so use it a lot. Don't want to drink and drive. Don't want to drive sometimes. It has nothing to do with drinking. Just you use Uber. So anyway, but the Uber Eats option I'd never chosen. So I go down a couple days ago to walk. Again, I wanted to go for a walk. It's not a big deal, but I take a backpack down to Canadian Superstore, which is a grocery store here. It's got a pharmacy. So it's generally got everything. I like to get those, those vegan greens or whatever. They're so fucking expensive, but apparently they're really good for you. So I'm like, if I'm going to spend money on anything. So anyway, I went down to get that, some food. We got, like, they're almost like en suites here. We got a fridge and a stove and all that. So I like to get some groceries. A, save money. B, be healthier. So I went down. It was a walk more than anything. It's 10,000 steps. So down and back, there's a lot of steps. It's definitely a few miles. It's 6 or 7 altogether. So anyway, I kind of wanted to walk more than anything. So I went, got some shit, brought it back. Now, Ryan McDonald's back here, and he goes, yeah, I can make that same order, and I'll save money. Now, I don't understand the way Uber Eats works, how this happens. But yeah, so yesterday, maybe it was with my first order, like welcome to or whatever. But I ordered the groceries. I never used Skip for groceries or anything. I also have Skip the Dish. I never used it for groceries. But now I'm like, well, if this shit's tying into my Aeroplan, I'll give it a chance. Anyway, the groceries came to $117, and I got it for $57. And I know that's a crazy, but I still don't really know. I'm going to look into it. Those of you that use it a lot are probably laughing at me right now. But holy fuck. I'm like, save the time, effort, and money. Like, where am I saving there? I don't understand. Like, isn't that pack of chicken breasts still $23.95? Like, how am I, because what I ordered for $117, like it was expensive. It was the normal price of things nowadays, but it wasn't like a lot of groceries, right? Like, I got back here, I'm like, I could have used, like, there's a barbecue down there. So I just ordered like 3 full salmons, that thing of chicken, another thing of that greens. That's it. Some of the Metamucil that I toss into the shakes, the green, that's it. So it wasn't a lot, and I don't understand how it went from 117 to 57. I don't see where, like, the store didn't have that. The Canadian Superstore doesn't have those deals on. So I guess it's something to do with joining Uber or whatever. But I thought that was a fantastic deal. And sometimes, normally I don't give any fucking credit or time or attention to anything that any of these any big organization puts on. But, I got a Starbucks card, I guess. But I wasn't linking them all together. And I certainly didn't know that I could actually save not a little bit of money, not pennies, like a ton of money by using Uber Eats. I'm fucking blown away. That's all we needed now, though, was something more convenient. Those of you looking online you must have been like, what the fuck is Terry doing? I'm doing this from my hotel. And you could only see my eyes. Anyway, this is it. So I've said a lot, but I've said nothing. I apologize in advance for the nature of 2017B, which you're about to listen to. But like I said, it's going to come back. I was just getting into the conversation and I had to leave. So any Chicago Blackhawks or Brent Sopel fans or fans of hockey in general, trust me, there will be more. I'm really looking forward to it. By the way, I'm here in Sudbury. We're just starting season 4 tomorrow. We've started today. Tomorrow is my big, like, our lines, and we're in full swing tomorrow. And we'll be here for another month or so at least. So if you're in the area and you're listening to this, you know that I'll be busy, but you also know that we're probably going to be Pepe Panini, Station 84, Respect is Burning, Laughing Buddha, Townhouse. We're going to be basically, we're on the scene. We're here. We've arrived. And this Saturday and Sunday, we are our first 2 days off. So we will be around Sudbury. Come say hi. We'd love to see you. And we're probably going to be in a patio on one of those places I mentioned. If you happen to find yourself in St. John's, mind you, you'll happen to find yourself right now smack dab in the middle of the George Street Festival. Regatta Day coming on Wednesday. So what would I do if you're in town and you're listening to this? You're in St. John's, I would go immediately to George Street and I'd check out Trinity Pub, TJ's Pub, Rob Roy Confusion, Greensleeves Pub, Martini Bar, and the Bull and Barrel. If I was going to go for a bite to eat, I'd go to Loose Tie Blue on Water, or of course, Wedgwood Cafe, Elizabeth Avenue, who also do catering. You want to change your life? You want some positivity? Go to Rope Walk Lane, Power Conditioning, strength and balance for the body and mind. Ryan Power is training some of the best young athletes in a variety of sports, not just hockey. He's really expanded not only his gym, his clientele, but his knowledge. He's great. Ryan Power, Power Conditioning. If you want to go to Mr. Lube, there's 2 locations in Newfoundland and Labrador. One's on Kemont Road. One is on Torbay Road. Live, laugh, lube. Of course, Pitbull Pain Relief paint sticks that just don't quit. Go to pitbullpainrelief.com. See what all the fuss is about. Muggsy jeans. I fucking love them. The stretch, the comfort. Muggsy fucking jeans. Check them out. Of course, True Hockey. Take what's yours. Folks, we'll be back just a few days with more Tales with Tierra and Brent Sopel, Volume 2. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys on the rebound.